Hello, everyone. This is Silk coming with you with Operation Thunderball. We're going to do just kind of an overall quick little recap of everything that happened in turn 13, a little overview of why some things might have gone the way they did, what folks might be planning in the future, and just kind of give you a feel of where everything's at. This is the end of turn 13, so 14 starts. Important thing about 14 is Operation Overlord is going to turn on, and we're only, now that 13's done, we're only 4 turns away from the start end game there. So things are moving rapidly. You're going to see sort of desperation fights start to come a little bit more often as people start to really kind of fight for position and worry less about money stuff. Let's see where we are on the tech chart here. The most critical thing was the United States continues woes with both improved factories and hit large ships. Even if they got large ships next turn, unless they got both large ships and 2 turns got improved factories, like just the odds of them getting any heavy ships on the board by the time the game ends is really low. So that's kind of a hamstring that the U.S. is working with, but they are only a single tech success away from completing tech supremacy, so that is very, very good news for them. The Russians are only 2 successes away, and here in turn 13, that's actually a pretty reasonable amount of time. They both are actually on pretty good track to have their tech supremacy points here done by the time we get to the game end, so good for them. Japan's still waiting to get these proof factories done. That's really my only main hope there, and British is really solid tech program. He's got his 2 already done. Factories at LRA will both suit him well. They can be done next turn. You have to be plenty pleased with that. And for the Germans, radar is now suddenly a very, very important technology. Radar is the only way that they'll be able to shoot down those U.S. rockets. They're just going to have to hope they can shoot them down. Otherwise, they're going to be in real trouble as the bombarding starts happening. I think the Germans would have loved to have had jets earlier, but it's almost too late now. He's already got a giant air force, and he's going to need ground troops to hold things in. So I wouldn't expect to see much there. And kind of the same thing with the heavy armor. It's just so late now. Maybe Germany would buy 1 or 2, but not really much to. Just going to have to broaden out, I imagine. So that's the tech situation. If we look at the cash situation, this is pretty much about the high water mark of where the axis can hope to be. The collapse is going to kind of start now. I don't know that either one of us will really make too much more money than what we're already sitting at. It's about as high as things are going to go, and you'll see they'll start to come back down as the Allies take control of things. That's a pretty normal circumstance. And the U.S. will return to their kind of spot in the high one, and the Soviets, I don't anticipate are going to get much lower than this. Maybe they'll lose 1 or 2, but they'll be able to start taking their territory back pretty rapidly once we see how the board develops. So we'll go take a look at that. As a little bit of shout out to Global War Enthusiast, your recaps that you did for all of the units all over the board. You did the great one for both of the British units. You did a wonderful one for the American units, of course, but I didn't get one for Russia, and I had a and I had a really important question for you. Can you please take a look at Leningrad for me, GWE? I was trying to follow along in the chat thread. There was some notation of which units were where, and there's some Lend-Lease going on. The Russians got some brand new tank they're all excited about. So I'm just trying to find out what's going on in Leningrad. I'm not entirely confident that I have this set up correctly. So if you could just take a look at it, see what it's on your board, and kind of let me know if I'm missing anything, or if I put something in the wrong spot. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. On to strategy situation. So the Americans have declared war, certainly on the Japanese. I thought I had a port down here. You can see this nice little big blue thing. So I thought I had a port. operating down here in Queensland, so had thought that was going to be a safe place to put my boats, and it's not a safe place to put my boats. So as a kind of a situation, I just moved them up here instead as an alternate, kind of knowing that would put them in danger, but that is what it is. Sometimes you make bad mistakes. You just gotta deal with the consequences, and that's certainly what happened there. We'll see what happens there. Also, do I have this destroyer in the right spot? GW, let me know. I'm not entirely positive that's where he is. You had called out the C zone, but I don't know all the C zone numbers. So if he needs to be somewhere else, let me know, because he may not necessarily be long for this world. So yeah, so I've got my giant fleet here. He's got his giant fleet here. We're gonna see what's gonna happen. Should be a good time. In the meantime, this was kind of the other big mistake of Japan here. I had not calculated my path right. I was thinking that I could jump supply path here. I could come up here, get to Burma and come across. And so I wasn't concerned about his sub being here. But once you enter rail, you cannot jump out. And so here's where Japan really got punished for not building this rail. I was being a little too cheap. I should have built that rail a while ago. I would have saved myself a heavy armor. So that's a lesson. These subs are definitely a problem. We're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna suppress them and get them down. I've got a few ideas, but we'll show that off when we actually get to our turn. Meanwhile, the British are coming. They've got most of their fleet here. As the fourth fleet is all these ships here. So they've got some capital ships coming. They've got all sorts of things moving across. So I think they're making a move to start taking the fight to India and the islands. And again, this is pretty normal that they're going to try to kind of bring the fight to the axis and create those pressure points for them to deal with. Not a great situation. The Soviets, meanwhile, Germany made that bubble bulge very much kind of like I expected they would, but this is about as far as they're going to be able to go. They do have a nice army here in the 86th, but it can't blitz into either of these cities, so it's just kind of stuck where it's at this point. It'll be interesting. He might kill these guys and blitz over here to Latvia, just to keep them safe safe from the infantry stack that's sitting in Leningrad. It could be a way to kill some units and get out of trouble. Or he may bring them down here and try to kind of fight in the south. I'm not sure what exactly Panzer J's got in mind. He's got his two armies, but they're relatively small. The Soviets have more troops. They have much closer supply lines. So the Germans are going to be in trouble keeping this fight going, and they've got a bigger problem here. The American British have formed up. They've got a nice big fat army sitting off of Spain here that they can use to attack directly towards Paris, and Operation Overlord is going to be live. So you may see some sort of operation anywhere along this coastline here that could trigger. You might see Germany put a coastal gun here in Picardy, just for that reason. You put a coastal gun here, and any invasion that would glide by would have to eat a shot from that coastal gun, 3 dice, so into either of these. But the fleet gets big enough, it's not a big deal. But they don't have a really big fleet. This is not a huge German fleet here, all told. So that will make things a little harder for them to work with. I guess they got these Dutch ships too, but we'll see what they end up coming up with. I think that's Africa again is kind of locked in. If the Brits leave, that's going to make this Italian fleet a much more enticing thing for the Italians to play around with. Bear in mind they still have 2 battleships, right? Yeah, they still have 2 battleships sitting on the board. They could drop those next turn and suddenly really be in a position to threaten the Brits if the Brits leave. So we'll see what happens there. But that's all we've got here for turn 14, or turn 13. Sorry, turn 14 probably starts tomorrow, I'm gonna guess. If anybody has any questions or comments, just throw them in the chat there. Let me know, and we'll get to it. Game on. Everybody have a good day.